Rarely is life easy. I have a real hard time navigating life in general because I'm not someone who conforms to much. I am a free spirit. The one thing about me is I don't like being told what to do. I never have. My stepdad, before he passed away, a few years before he passed away, he made the point to me um, that your biggest problem, this is what he said to me at one point, your biggest problem is you don't like being told what to do. And I thought, how's that a problem? Like, honestly, I straight away, I'm thinking, how's that a problem? Like, what the hell? You know, because I think deeper than most people. And straight away, the logic doesn't logic. It does not make sense. Why on earth should someone have more power over our dominion than ourselves? Why is someone perceived to be more intelligent, wiser than us? That doesn't make sense. So why should someone lord over me and I'm their they're the puppet master and I'm their puppet? I don't work with me. I'm fully confident in my ability to navigate life, make best decisions for myself. I don't need to be coerced, dictated to. I've never liked it. So, for instance, in workplaces and things, I don't do well with leadership above me. I don't like people bothering me too much. Like, just leave me alone and let me get on with it. I hate micromanaging. So when someone tries to micromanage me, I get really like it gets under my skin. I don't like it at all. So like I've always done warehouse forklift work. So if someone constantly reloads performance information, it's like that is the worst thing you can do to me because it's like I just want to throw it at them. I don't care for good or bad. I don't need to hear statistics. I don't care. It means nothing to me. I'm here to do the job. I'm here to do the role. I'll do it to the best I can. And that's the best you're going to get. It's like I don't need to hear about the numbers. That's too much data. It's unnecessary. So yeah, my biggest it's one of my biggest hurdles is literally conforming because I don't like it at all. So it's been a bit hard for me lately because, you know, I feel, in all honesty, I feel like I've outgrown the past, like immeasurably. I know I'm good at what I do, and I just can't seem to find success from it. And it's so frustrating because I know I should be financially successful like crazy. I know what I do, it stands out. You know, I watch my content back. Okay, some people won't like it, some people will. But what the hell? Like, I can't even build an audience. It doesn't even make sense. None of it makes sense. You know, no matter what I do in whatever path I choose, it's just it never ever elevates. So I have to balance the new version of myself with an old way of living, and it's like it's really hard for me because it goes against everything. Like I'm not that person anymore. But we have to have money, so I put myself in situations where I'll walk away from things that no longer serve me. But it only gets us so far for so long, and then you know we want things. We naturally have things we want, desires. So how are you going to attain that? Because the things I do don't get me anything. It's like, but it does, but it's bigger than me. So that's why I create the content I create. I feel like if it's not seen now, it might get seen in 5 years. If it's not 5 years, 10 years. If it's after my lifetime, then so be it. It's not fair, but that's life, you know. So yeah, I actually think I should be incredibly successful, but I'm not. So you have to just take the hits. It's not an ego thing. I don't really have an ego in that sense. It's like it is what it is. It's just a frustration that I now have to balance a huge side of me that doesn't like to conform. So, for instance, I've been offered various jobs, and for whatever reason, I've eventually turned them down or I've walked away. And it's like, because it doesn't sit right with me. Like, most places are chaotic, they're disorganized. And it's just and I can't walk into chaos. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. So, I can do it in brief periods, but I'd never place myself somewhere where it's going to make me miserable. It's like I've got too much respect for myself. I can't do it. I don't like feeling like a prisoner. Freedom is everything. So like I say, it's hard to find a balance to everything. So one of the things at the moment is upon job searching is most jobs, at least where I am, a lot of them now are pushing for 12-hour shifts. And that's a lot of pressure on people to be able to work so long. I did a video before, like, and I spoke about it as well, where, you know, 4 on 4 off is incredibly balanced because you offer 4 days of your life, you get 4 days of freedom. And I think if let's put it as some of the most balanced you're going to get in a work environment where you're not working for yourself. Now, I do consider myself an entrepreneur. The work I do, you know, my books, with the audio books, the videos I do, but I'm not seeing the success from it. So it's really frustrating because I feel like I should be able to live off that. There's no, someone similar would be living off it. So why the hell can't I? You know, so I have to keep doing everything else, and it's so annoying. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to find a balance here, but it's an awful lot to sacrifice all the time, you know. So even to get those 4 days off, you literally have to give up an entire 4 days. But not even that, you have to sort of like exhaust yourself to death almost. Um, yeah, so like for instance, there's a job I am starting, and it's 4 on 4 off, 12-hour shifts, but it takes me an hour to get there nearly. That means it takes me just as much to get home. So effectively, you're given 14 hours each day. That doesn't even account for having to get up earlier just to be able to get ready and things. But that's 14 hours every day. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask of anyone, I think. Um, but unfortunately, just where I am, there's just not the opportunities there. There's just not enough opportunities. Me personally, I think 8 hours is fair. But a lot of companies nowadays, they don't want to pay your lunch breaks. And they're just getting tighter and tighter with the finances. It's crazy to me. If I was a boss, I wouldn't hire people that I can't afford to hire for starters. This is how I would. This is how I would employ people, though, because I would appreciate the fact that if any money I'm making is off, if I had to have a workforce, I'd know they're the ones generating the money. So I would want to make sure that they actually they have to be able to live a decent quality of life. Now it's easy for me to say that, but I would literally, if I had a business, that's how I would operate. I couldn't possibly watch my workforce knowing they're struggling at home. That's outrageous. That is so low vibrational. It's crazy. And unfortunately, there are some companies like that, and you know, I've always said that as well. The ones that pay you the least usually expect the most. It's outrageous. Now, some people say skill up, level up, whatever, but that doesn't that just papers over the issue. You know, if you work hard, you should be rewarded for it. It shouldn't matter how educated you are, how skilled you are. It doesn't matter. The task still needs to be fulfilled, and it should be appreciated. Yeah, I think there's too many unscrupulous employers out there. So it's like sifting through the rubble. So the job I've got lined up it pays more than the average. It pays more than the if I look at others, like for instance, most are paying about £12.20 in the UK at the moment for like warehouse roles, even forklift. For some reason, a little while ago, forklift drivers got paid more. Nowadays, it's just not getting the money's just not there, and it depends where you live, of course. But the job I've been offered is £14.7, so it's literally just over £2 an hour more. Now, UK wages are very stagnant. It's absolutely crap. But effectively, the way I look at it is most people are on similar wages. So literally, unless they're really skilled and they're on a much higher salary, the average person's on a similar wage to each other, give or take between maybe £300 each way a month, you know, individually. And of course, if you're in a couple, you've got plenty between. But anyway, that's literally, it's not that massive, the differences. Whereas I think in the US, there's a huge disparity. You can earn an awful lot, but then you can also be incredibly poor. It sort of swings and roundabouts. But yeah, it does get really frustrating having to sort of balance things all the time. And like I say, I don't do well with being told what to do. And I don't do well with having to sort of like forego an awful lot of my freedom. And especially 14 hours in a day. It's like, it grinds on me a lot, that. Because I would much rather just do 8 hour days. I think that's fair. Like, the reality is that most people have a habit of just conforming, so they don't question anything. Whereas I'm someone who questions absolutely everything. So I see issues all the time, and I'm always thinking, I don't understand how that's normal. But a lot of people would look at me like I am dysfunctional, or um, maybe consider me like a villain because I'm always against the establishment, or I'm always against this. But it's almost like I'm always looking for fairness. So it doesn't make sense to me that you work 5 days a week. The average person, now mine's 4 on 4 off, so I'm not, but I'm having to sacrifice everything just to have the 4 days, which is crazy. But if you work 5 days a week, doesn't matter what your shift pattern, what your hours, either way, you don't get that long in the evening. So you've given up your days, and you have to think about it all the time because literally it's most of your life. And then you get 2 days off as a reward. That's not balanced at all, because the whole weekend, well, at least someone like me, I'm an overthinker. So I would always be thinking about upcoming work, which would annoy me because I'm thinking, shit, I've got oh, Monday's coming, Monday's coming, Monday's coming. And it's got freaking hell, I've got another 5 days of this shit. That's how my head would be working all the time. So even on my days off, it's like, God damn it. Um, yeah, so I personally think 8 hours is fair. I think 9 hours pushes it. It's just papering over the fact that people got very tight, cheap employers. so they expect you to work the extra hour. Whereas I'd rather, if you got to do a half paid, unpaid break, take it off it and just pay me 7.5 hours. I don't want to be there for 9 hours, 10, 12. I don't really want to be there that long. But it's really hard now to find a job that's specifically 8 hour shifts. It's 8 hour days. It's usually like an extra half an hour, an extra hour. Most of the time, it's an extra hour now. And then that pushes it because if you're there for 9 hours, an extra 3 hours per day, which is what I'd be doing, you literally end up with a lot more days off though. So once you get to 9 hours, you might as well go 10. If you're going 10 and you go 12, it's like we've lost it anyway. But that's what literally everybody's suffering with. But people don't like question it. I think it should be 8 hour days, even less potentially if you could, just because I think there should be a work life balance. Even 6 hours, people should just be paid more and have to work less. I'm not saying don't put the effort in when you're there, but you shouldn't have to work so long hours. Life should be balanced fairer. I think there should be enough time outside of work days in those days to still live as well and enjoy life. I don't understand why we have to just give everything like we're robots, we're machines. It's crazy to me. So I personally think it should be between 6 and 8 hour days, and paid a good wage, so you don't have to keep working crazy hours. And then I think you should only have to work 4 days a week. I think you should get 3 days off, work 4, get 3 off, work 4, get 3 off. But the 4 you work are not all day. It's for a period of the day, and then you still get some off. That's balanced. And I'm sure companies could manage that. The successful ones could anyway. New starter ones, of course, would be harder. But still, it's just greed, obviously competition and stuff. But people are literally giving away their entire life for breadcrumbs. That doesn't sit right with me at all. So it's really hard for me, someone who's removed myself from that toxic life, to have to sort of like try to find my space in this chaos. And it's kind of like, what can you find that's at least sustainable and it's going to help, it's going to work for you. And like I said, I've turned down roles because they didn't. One job was Monday to Friday, and I think it was, if I can remember rightly, it was a permanent role, £29,000 a year, similar to the one I'm going to be doing now. It was Monday to Friday, and I think it was 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I just thought, that's a lot you're asking of someone. Monday to Friday, 7 till 5. 7 till 5. So you've got to get up about 5:30 in the morning, realistically. 5:30 in the morning. You won't get home to about 5:30 at night, in the evening. Because you're getting up so early, you have to go to bed early. See, that's crazy. And that's 5 days a week, so I only get my weekend off. That just doesn't make sense. That's a load of rubbish. Now, bearing that in mind, the job I'm going to be doing is 6 till 6. So that was 7 till 5, Monday to Friday. You've got 2 days off. The job I'm taking on is 4 on, 4 off. So you don't guarantee the days you're off, but it works its way around. So there will be some weekends, there'll be some where you get the weekend. It just works. So for 7 till 5, you do an hour earlier in the morning and you do an hour later in the evening. That's all that is. Hour either side of that other shift. And you've got 4 days off instead of 2. And you're only ever in for 4 days at a time. So that makes more sense, doesn't it? This what I'm trying to show is you can chase the money, but I think sometimes a lot of time it's better just to find something that's suitable and works for you. Now, again, the what I want doesn't exist. So because people it doesn't exist. People don't question things enough. So another role come up. I haven't applied for it. I just saw it. I'm just going to explain it. It come up and it said there was 2 shift patterns. One was every weekend, part of. So one was Saturday. So one was Wednesday to Saturday. Was it Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday to Saturday? I think it always end on Wednesday, Sunday to Wednesday. Effectively, you worked 4, then you got the 3 days off, but it was always continuous. But you always lost a Saturday or Sunday. So if your shift was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then you would get Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, and that would be constant. Or you would the other way around, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you get Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So either way, you didn't lose the whole weekend, but you constantly lost whatever so it was always a Sunday or it's always a Saturday. But then I looked at that, and that was 12-hour shifts, and I thought, okay, you've got a bit more of a routine with that, but you're doing, that's 4 on, 3 off, 4 on, 3 off. Yeah, it's 12 hours the same as what I'd be doing, but mine's 4 on, 4 off. And it rotates, so sometimes you will get your weekends off. So all of a sudden, a job that I'm thinking this is a bit much is starting to look quite favourable compared to the mess that's around at the moment. And it's like the job market's terrible. It's absolutely shit. And it's really, like I said, it's really hard for me to step into it because I'm thinking that's going to drive me nuts. That's going to drive me nuts. And eventually you're like, well, it's all shit. It's all absolute crap. They don't want to pay anything, and the hours are mental. So like this one's quite fortunate in the sense it pays more than any of the others around, unless you're doing nights somewhere, because sometimes you get a little bit more. You can go up to about £16 an hour if you do nights. But some companies don't even do a premium for nights, so it's not guaranteed anywhere. But if you get it realistically for forklift warehouse roles, the only way you're going to get more realistically is to do a night shift. So mine pays more than the others per hour, and you're literally getting 4 days off. So eventually, you're just having to say, I need money coming in, so this is the option I'm going to have to take. And that's literally where I'm up to. But yeah, like I say, I don't do well with rules at all. It's like if I had the choice, I don't work for anyone. I don't want to work for anyone. That's me being transparent. I don't. I prefer to work for myself. I prefer to do my own thing. I'm confident in my own thing. It just needs to make money. I'm not good at marketing. I refuse to be anything I'm not. So there'll be things I say are abrasive, but it's like as much as I want my breakthrough and I want success, it's like I'm not scared of being cancelled though either. So if my life's hard as a consequence, I just take it on, you know. So if I set myself back because I say something, I don't give a shit. You know, I just say I'll say it because I mean it. You know, I'm not going to say something I mean and then backtrack and apologize. It's like no, take it or leave it. It's like I'm not here to make people love me. It's like that's not what I'm here about. It's just talk about topics that I feel should be spoken about, and shine a light on aspects of life. And it's like mirror it back to people, and it's like hopefully they reflect upon their own lives. And that's what I do. But like I say, it's hard for me to jump into um, traditional things now. It's getting harder and harder for me. But I'm recognizing I'm sort of like my own enemy at the same time. So like I'm not look. This is where it's really important. Is sometimes I feel I make decisions that are absolutely correct. Like there's no bad. I don't even regret or anything. Sometimes I make decisions that even I might look back and think that was questionable. Like should you have? Sometimes I don't know if I should or not, and it just drives me nuts so much that I make a decision, and it's not always the best decision, but it's a decision, and I just stand by it. You know. So like when it comes to jobs, like for instance, where I've turned down a few, it's like I look and think, well, I could have took that one actually. I wonder how that one would have worked out. That one might have been all right. But then when I think about it, I'll go, wait a minute. Oh, that's why. Yeah, okay, I can't handle that. That's stupid. But yeah, but then you look at other ones and you're like, there's a problem with all of them. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I can't. So, like for instance, the one I'm going to do now, it's a long journey to get there. You're losing so much time. Effectively, the 4 days you work, you're just going to have to just treat like you're just a mule for the 4 days, and I don't like that at all. But it's better than the other shit you're being offered. The other ones you're only getting 2 days, effectively like 4 on 4 off, 4 on 4 off. You're getting a lot of time in between off though. The other people have to wait two. Like for instance, if I get 4 days off, I get 4 days off after I've worked 4 days. So you do your 4 days, I get 4 days off. 4 days, 4 days off. If I book 4 days holiday, I've got freaking 12 days off in a row. That's pretty cool. Now, so after I've worked 4 days, I get 4 days off. Someone that works 9 to 5, like Monday to Friday, and they get the Saturday and Sunday off, they have to wait so long. They have to effectively, for them to get 2 days off, 4 days off. So I have to work 4 days and I'll get 4 days off. For someone else to get 4 days off, they have to work 10 days because you'll work 5, then you get 2 days off. Then you'll work 5 and you get 2 days off. So to get the 4 days, they have to work 10 days. Make the sense in any of that. You just got to start questioning it and think, where's the logic? It doesn't make sense. So as much as like it's easier to set a schedule with Monday to Friday, and of course if you've got kids at home, young kids and things, but that's what they prey on. You know, it's like I think jobs haven't moved with the times. I think there should be far more freedom. I think there should be more flexibility. There will always be cover if there's flexibility. Um, yeah. Anyway, I think employees, the people that do the job, should be respected a lot more. And allowed to live, because I think there's this culture really where a lot of like managers and things, they expect people to just dedicate their life to work. They literally feel that should be their priority, and it's like that shouldn't be anyone's priority. Work is a means to an end. It's great if you enjoy doing it, but it's still only part of life. It's like the biggest part of your life is the one you create yourself. So the memories you make, if you're traveling, if you've got family, whatever it is you like to do in your spare time, that's your life. the job supplements that life. It helps provide for it, but that's not your be all and end all. That's just sad. Even like what I do sparingly. It's not my like. It means a lot to me, which is why I create it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Especially when I don't even get any reward for it. I don't get nothing, like, literally. Um, it's so frustrating. But yeah, I do it because I have a passion for it, but it doesn't consume me entirely. Of course, the books do. I get really irritated with that because it will take me about 3 months of real hard graft, and I'd have to just forego any enjoyment for the most part. There'll be sporadic bits of entertainment, but it's a hard graft. I am getting back to one of them soon because I feel I should just get it done. Um, even though a big part of me doesn't want to, because I know what it's going to take to get it finished, and I know no one's reading it after. It'll be like 3 years before anyone reads it. It's just stupid because that's how it's been. It's been like off on, off on, off on. Someone buys a copy, someone reads a copy, and I love that. And then it goes dry again for the next 3 or 4 months. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do. Um, but the point there is, it's like even that isn't like the be all and end all. It's a huge part of my life, but it's like there's other aspects to make us fulfilled too. So you can't just be about locking yourself in a room and just sit there working on your craft, like writing, video recording, and you literally do nothing else. That's robotic. But see, I don't even do that for my projects. I do bits and then I get on with my day, bits and get on with my day. But jobs expect you to be like committed and tied in like a prisoner, and you can't leave the premises. You've got no freedom of movement. It's like you've got no freedom of anything. Literally, you are giving away every ounce of your freedom in exchange for money. That's what you're doing. And in a lot of places they think they own you. It's absolutely crazy. Um, and literally, like, just think about it. What happens if you try to leave the premises when you're at work? What happens if you just walk out? You can't. You're going to get reprimanded. You're going to get warnings. You're going to eventually get sacked. You're going to who knows what outcomes. You don't have freedom. The only freedom you have is the decision whether you take the job or not, and whether you decide to leave. Um, but for the most part, when you're in work, your freedoms are limited. So anyway, that's my little rant really on the state of employment, jobs, and really the freedoms we sort of like um, really let go. And it doesn't sit well with me, these things. So, like I say, if someone's overbearing and things, it doesn't sit. I don't do well with it. I don't like people abusing power. I don't like people posturing. And like I say, I'd much rather just work for myself and beat to my own drum. I'm confident. I know what I create. I know how I do. I know what I'm good at. Um, yeah, and even the other things I do. I'm good at what I do in general. I don't need to be led. I just need to be given instruction. Like if someone needs that done, just let me know and I'll get it done. It's just I don't need to have my hand held the whole time, and I definitely don't need to be kept in check, because that's what some people do. I get that a lot in places, by the way. I get people that are either jealous of an ability, whether it's a forklift or whatever it is. Maybe I'm good at it, I'm efficient. There'll always be someone that wants to compete. They want to be where you are. It's like, oh, just get over it. It's like I'm not even looking over like that. I'm just getting on with what I'm doing. So there's always someone that's got a level of jealousy, and then there's usually someone who with power recognizes my potential or recognize how stubborn I am, how like independent, and they don't like it. So they want to try to dominate me, and it never works because I always tell people. Like, I don't want to swear now, but I'll tell people where to shove it up their, you know. Yeah, I don't do well in environments like that. So it's like I can be quite reactive when I want to be. So there's two sides to me for sure. There's a very stubborn, stoic, direct side, but there's also a very light-hearted fun. I can be charismatic. I can get on well with people. I can talk all day. I can, all these different things. But usually when people see one side, they don't expect the other. But like we are an amalgamation of our personality, aren't we? We're not all just like one put us in a box. I mean, surely you meet enough people, you realize people have various sides to their personality, and usually you get a side that person feels you deserve. So if someone doesn't feel comfortable around you or they feel defensive, you're going to get a defensive side of them that protects themselves. If someone feels safe around you, you're going to get a vulnerable side of them because they feel safe, and that's just how that is. You don't get to pick and choose what side you get, but it's usually a reflection of your energy. Um, but yeah, like I say, I'm trying to balance life in a world that's toxic as hell, and where workplaces are not usually dynamic and not fair. And I'm hoping that the situation I find myself um, doesn't get too exhausting, to be honest, because I am apprehensive. I'm a little bit worried. I think 14 hours of your day is a lot to ask of anyone, and I think repeated 4 times is a bit much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always worried about 4 on 4. I've always wanted to try 4 on 4 off, and I've always felt that you can get a good balance with it. But it only works if you're not truly exhausted. Because the real problem I have, although you can't win anyway, because the fight Monday to Friday crap, you only get 2 off anyway. It's bad. It's not. How's that balanced? You give 5 days of your life to get 2 in return. Absolutely ridiculous. You might as well just have all of it, and we'd just be mules. You're not far off being a mule when you only get the 2 days off. Um, think of it. Think about it a little bit. But with this one, yeah, with the 4 on 4 off, my concern is: do you get that exhausted from the 4 days of a lack of sleep, constantly just working? You're not gonna get enough time to re-energize. By the time you get the day off, do you just spend the first day off recovering? So you're really just exhausted and trying to rest. And then, okay, you get the 2 days in between, the 2 days after, where maybe you've got a bit more energy. But then is the next day you just apprehensive and anticipating how horrendous the next day is going to be when you go back in for 4 days. So I don't think I mean, when it comes to work, you can't win unless it's truly, truly balanced and a bit lighter. But that's my worry. Is like, although you get the 4 days off, are they enjoyable 4 days, or is it just recovery? Because there's burnout. You got to be careful. But anyway, I think that's something to think about really in all of our lives. But just chasing the money, I think it's foolish. It just quite works out well at this situation that the money pays slightly more than the other roles. But I wouldn't argue the other roles are offering anything of any better. That's the trouble. So yeah, we can all dream, can't we? We open up a job advert and it says Monday to Thursday, and if it's maybe 6 hours with a good pay salary, you go, oh, that's nice. That is nice. Fortunately, I don't think that exists. But yeah, by keeping your options open, though, you never know what you're going to find. That's one thing to think about. But then there's other angles, isn't there? Someone could offer that, and it could be a terrible work environment. So, got to pick and choose. But yeah, I think most people's work life isn't one of joy, is it? It's more of survival. And that's what I just don't like. I know people say suck it up. That's because they've been conditioned to feel that way, or they're just trying to project. A lot of people do that. They're miserable their whole life, so they project their misery onto others, and it's just like a whole raft of just get on with it. It's life, blah blah blah. It's like, well, it's the part of life you accept. It's the part of life I fight against. But up to each their own. I don't give up. So I will always fight against something that I don't feel is balanced. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to go on too far with this. I thought I'd just say, hopefully it's given people time to reflect upon their lives too, and just think about how corrupt society is in general, really. Because it's not really built for our benefit, is it? It's whose benefit is it? It's usually those with wealth.